Here we go. We have 10 hidden macOS Finder tricks. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel. So today we're kind of going to continue some of these other tutorial videos. And today what I have is 10 hidden macOS Finder tips that you probably don't know about, but you should use every single day. So obviously macOS Finder is really important when you're using macOS, but there's a whole bunch of little hidden secrets in there I'm going to show you today. So without further ado, 1 through 10. Okay, so hidden feature number 1 is something you'll use every single day once I show you. Now, some people may know this, but I'm guessing like 70% of the population do not know this about Finder. So if we look at my screen over here, we're going to go ahead and open up Finder. Here it is right over here. Now, what happens usually is, like a lot of times if you want to drag something between two Finder windows, you really have to, go over here, you go up to File, New Finder window like this. You open up a second window, you put them next to each other, you start dragging things over. You don't actually have to do that. A lot of people don't even realize you can do this. If you have the Finder window open up here, what you can do is you can actually go ahead and hit Command and T. So Command T. Watch what happens up on my screen. Command T. It actually opens up a tab up here. Look at this. 2 different tabs. And to make this more extreme, I'm going to go to Downloads here. And this is going to be the documents. If I hit Command T again, now I have 3 Finder windows open. So I can actually have the Finder windows open in themselves just with tabs up here. So now what I can do is I can take a file like this. I can go ahead and, you can go to copy it. You can go into documents now and I can go ahead and paste it in here. I don't have to have multiple windows open. It's just Command T. And a lot of people just don't know it exists. I use it all the time. I mean, you may or may not, but just put in the comments, did you know that one? All right, hidden feature number 2. It's not really hidden, I guess, but it's something that most people don't know exists. Now, I like to use this one to kind of protect folders and so people can't get in and touch my documents and stuff. Hear me out for a second. This is actually pretty cool. Here's Finder over here. Take a look over here, and you can see it in here. So I have a folder here called Important Documents. I got nothing in there right now, but I'm going to show you what I can do. So what you can do is you can actually click on the folder, just click on the folder, highlight it, and then right-click on it, have right-click enabled. And then what you want to do is hit Get Info right here. See Get Info? It's going to bring open this window over here, and I'm going to drag this kind of over here so we can see it right in the middle. So you can see it in here. Now what I want to do is all the way down here, there's this thing. Sometimes this will actually be kind of shut down here, but click on this little caret here and open this up. And you can see down in here, there's this first thing that's your account, and then it says Staff and Everyone. What you want to do here, and this is really important, is where it says your name or your actual name of the computer here. This is because you're the administrator. You have to be the administrator for this, of the account. You're going to go ahead and change the privilege from read and write. You're going to go ahead and change it to write only Dropbox. See it right there? And we're going to click on that. See that? Write only Dropbox. Now we're going to shut this down. So now what I can do is if I take a file, so remember there's nothing in there, but I'm going to drag this file right here. This is just a picture. Let me just go ahead and quick open it. I'm going to go ahead and drag this into that important docs. It's going to give you a message. You can put items into this important documents, but you won't be able to see them. Do you want to continue? Okay. So I just moved that in there. Now it's going to stay here. You can delete it if you want. I mean, you can go ahead and move this, but it's going to be in there. But now it's got this like little icon next to it. You can barely see it. It's like a little down arrow there. But now if I go in here and I double click on this, it's going to say this folder documents can't be opened because you don't have permissions. So what I like to do in here is you can drag important files in there, but if other people are using your computers, maybe your wife or your kids or whatever, and you just don't want them getting in and like messing up your tax documents or something, you can go ahead and do this. They'll have no idea how to get in there and change that back. They have to be an administrator, so if they're coming in from another account, they can't get in there because they don't have permission to get in there. Obviously, if they're using your account logging in through it, they can go ahead and make that change, but most of them won't even know how to do that, right? So anyways, now what you can do is obviously you can't see them, but it kind of protects it from you as well. So if you don't want to go in there and change things, you don't want to accidentally delete them, you can go ahead and do this. Now what I want to do is, again, if I want to see them later, I just right click on it again. I click Get Info here again. We're going to bring open this box. And we can go ahead and change the permissions right back to read and write. Now you can do read only as well, so you can't actually overwrite them. You can just read them, but not overwrite them. We're just going to do read and write like that. It's going to remove that little plus or that little arrow there that was on the folder. I'm going to click that. Now if we go in here, we can see that the file that I dragged in there is actually in there, and we can open it up just like it's a new file. So it's just a kind of a cool way to lock folders and lock people out of folders and don't give them permissions to get in there. So overall, I just think it's a cool tip overall. Okay, tip number 3 here. It helps me a lot. It may help you, may not, but take a look what I'm talking about. So over here I have Finder open. If I right click up here at the top, I can go to this customized toolbar. Now this is not really the tip here, but you can go ahead and drag any of these different features in up to the menu bar. So if I want, a new place to create new folders up here, I can just drag this up here. It's going to let me create new folders. If I want to have a delete files up here, you can go ahead and do on any of this stuff up here. You can eject different drives and stuff. That's actually pretty cool. What I like to do though is I actually like to do AirDrop. So see it right here? I like to drag it right up in here and drop it up here, just like that. Then I'm going to go ahead and click Done down here. If you want to go back to the default, you can drag this whole menu bar up. It'll put the default back there. I'm going to click Done there. Now what you can do, and I love doing this, so if you're in this really messy folder, but I want to go ahead now and AirDrop someone something, instead of opening up AirDrop over here, sometimes you have to do that, and then you have to kind of copy the file, move it over, do all that stuff. All you have to do in this thing is you just take the file here, and then you just drag it. Well, actually, you don't even have to do that. Just select the file, actually. Click AirDrop right here. It's going to open up this screen, and it's going to give you all your choices of the different things you can actually AirDrop to. Take a look at this. So you select what you want to AirDrop to, and it's going to go ahead and do it right away for you, just like that. It sent it that quickly. So that's an easy way to AirDrop things. You just add it up to that menu. You select the files. It could be 1 or 3 or 5 files. Click the button, and then you select the destination. Instantly AirDrops where you want it to. Okay, so the hidden tip number 4 is actually kind of like 3 little ones all combined into one, so hold on one second. If you look at my screen over here, one thing you can do is, let's say you're in this list view here, and you notice how these things are so small, you can't even see what the pictures are. There's an easy way to see them instantly if you want to. While you're in this, while you're in this screen right here, all you have to do is hit Command plus. It's going to make them one level bigger. Look at that. And then Command minus, Command plus, Command minus. So whenever you're in here, you're like, what is that picture? Just Command plus, Command minus, it's done. So you can see exactly what it is. It's going to make them bigger just really quickly, and then you can change it right back. Okay, another way you can do that too to make it permanent is if you go in here and you right click anywhere in this kind of empty space, and you go down to View Show Options right here, View Show Options. A couple things you can do in here, if you notice, you can go in here and just change it permanently. It says icon size. So if I click this, it's going to make the icons bigger, and then that's kind of what we were doing with that Command plus and Command minus, but this just makes it permanent. See that? And then you can go ahead and close it down. That's one thing that's cool. The other thing that's kind of cool, let me actually show you before I forget this, is if you go into, let me just go into my documents. If we go into this kind of icon view, you see all these things. Sometimes these are, these are usually larger also. You can get, you can see them a lot easier, but maybe you don't like the size of it. You can go ahead and use that Command plus and minus, but this time it lets you do a whole bunch of things as big as you want. Look at this, or as small as you want. So you can go ahead and change the size of this. Command plus, Command minus. It's not just one level, it's a whole bunch of different levels, so it's really nice. All right, we're still kind of on tip number 4 just because it's this View Show Options. This is probably the most important part of this though. If you look at my screen over here, you'll notice when you have a bunch of folders lined up, if for some reason it's annoying, they don't show you the size of what's in the folder. See, that is crazy. Why don't they do that? You can change that instantly. If you look over here, you right click, show view options again, same place we just were. So we're going to open this up. Right down here it says calculate all sizes. Just click that little plus there, and then it'll click the box. We're going to uncheck that, and then look over here. It added all of those sizes. So for instance, here's testing encryption. If I click on this, you can see that these two files, 8.3 and 8.7 and 2.3, that actually equals the 11 right there. So it adds them all up and it puts the size right there. So I don't know why Apple doesn't have that enabled by default, but that's how you do it. Okay, tip number 5 is actually 2 more tips combined again. So take a look at my screen here. We have the downloads folder. So if you have my, a messy folder, like you have all these, messy, I guess, downloads folder, but you have all these individual folders strewn out in here, but those are usually more important than the files. What you can do is you just kind of go up here to Finder, click on it, go to Settings right there, Finder Settings. And then what you want to do is you bring up the Advanced up here, click on Advanced. Right here it says Keep Folders on Top in Windows when sorting by name. So you click on that like that. We're going to shut that down. So now if I sort by name, just really quickly, it's going to go ahead and put all the folders at top up here. You can see that, which is actually kind of cool. So now, I mean, obviously you can still go back to like the date that, that you opened it or the date that you added it, which a lot of people like to use. But when you want to get all your folders really quickly, you just click this and it's going to put all of the folders at the top instantly for you because it's sorting by the name and they're all at the top. Okay, we're still on tip number 5 because this is in the same area. If you look at my screen over here, a lot of people ask me this all the time. So if you open up a Finder window down here, it opens up to Documents, but a lot of people have it open up to Recents, which they don't like actually. So if you want this to open up somewhere different every single time you open up Finder, you can do that very easily. Just click on this and go up to Finder, go up to Settings up here. And then once we're in here, click on General right there. And then it just says right here, New Finder window shows, and then Documents. So when I open it up, it's going to go to the Documents. You can go in here and change it to your desktop. You can change it to, I usually go to Other. And what you can do is you can go just in here and click Downloads, just like that, and then click Choose. and then it's going to say downloads, and we're going to shut this down, and what's going to happen basically is now when I open this up, it's going to go right to my downloads folder instead of the documents folder. That's really super easy, right? And another thing too is just a quick note in here. If you go back up to Finder and Settings in here, you can also go ahead and the sidebar up here, you can see it right here. If you click on that, you can go ahead and click and uncheck anything that you want to have show up on the sidebar over here. So if you want to add AirDrop over there, you can add it over there. You can add music, movies. You can remove those if you don't want everything on the sidebar, which is right over here. So if I go ahead and click movies, you can see movies was added right there. If you uncheck it, it's unchecked. Just something you should note there, because a lot of people ask me, how do you get things over in the sidebar? That's how you do it. Okay, tip number 6, it's partially the Finder and also partially the dock, so it's kind of a combination of both. If you look over here, so if I'm working on a project, I love doing this. Instead of always going into Finder, I'll just take the folder that I'm working in. Let's say this is a project folder, although it says important documents, but you know the idea. I'm just going to take this, drag this down here, right into this right side of the dock over here. It can be anywhere in here. Just going to drop it in there. And it's going to have a picture here of, one of the pictures that's in there. If you want to change that, you can go in here and you can click, let me just see here. You can make it a folder like that. And now it's going to look more like a folder. See that? Anyways, it's right there, important documents. So now when you're working and you have, a whole bunch of different things open, you can actually go and just drag things right into down here, drag things in there. You can also click on it. It's going to open up, what you have in there. You can also have it open up as a Finder window as well. So you can instantly get to that folder. So just drag all your files while you're working on the project or get all your files from there. And then when you're done with the folder, all you have to do is just go in here and you can go right click on this and then in here go to options, remove from dock right there. It's going to remove the folder, but it's not going to remove the folder obviously from your main files. The files will still be in there in Finder. It's just going to remove it from the dock and then you can stop working on it. So I like to move folders in there that I'm doing projects on so I don't have to keep opening up Finder. I mean, Finder might be open, but I can just easily drag them into there or easily take them out of there. And then when I'm done with the project, I just remove that folder from the dock and I'm all set to go. Okay, number 7 is actually a really simple one, but just people don't know this exists. It makes life easier. So here I am. If I had let's say I had 30 files. I'm only going to select 3 of them here, maybe 4 of them. Let's say you select 30 or 40 files in here, and you want to move them into their own folder just really quickly. Instead of like creating a folder and making it and then dragging them in, all you have to do is select the files here. And once they're selected, you go up here, and you go up to File here, and then just go New Folder with Selection, 4 items. Click on that. You're going to see that it just moved all of those 4 items out of there and moved it up here. You can go ahead and name it. I'm just going to put Test in there. It instantly lets you name it. So now all those are right in there. So you can create, massive sets of folders just easily like that. So you just select everything and then go up there and then, obviously add it as a selection, and it goes ahead and creates the folder for you. Instantaneous, way quicker. Okay, number 8 is something that happens to a lot of people. They always ask me about this. You may or may not know about this feature, but if you do, there's something that always happens that makes it frustrating for people. Let me just explain here. So here we are in my Finder window. So you can always right-click on a file and then go to Get Info here. It's going to bring open a window like I showed you before that has a whole bunch of information about the file. This is where you can go ahead and change obviously this stuff down here as far as the read and writes. But you have other stuff you can add tags to it. One annoying thing though is if you actually have multiple files you select and you do the same thing and you hit Get Info, it's going to bring up like a whole bunch of these things, and it can go all over your screen. Sometimes people make mistakes doing that, and you can see the files and individual information about them, but you just can't, it's just not a good way of doing it. So what I like to do is there's a weird thing built into here. So if you actually, you don't really have to select anything, but you can select a file there. And if you go over here, and I think if you hold down the option, see I'm under File, under Finder here, I'll go to File, I'm holding the Option key. Look what happens. It changes the menu. Go down to Show Inspector right there. See it? You got to hold the Option key down. Show Inspector. It's going to open this inspector, so leave it over here. But now you can just go down each file. See this? And every file that you actually click on now will actually change. It won't open them all up at once. It's kind of a cool thing if you want to go through everything and look at and change permissions or do whatever you want to do. Look at sizes. You can add tags. It's just a way of getting the inspector to work correctly, and it's just hidden. You got to fool around with it over here. So it's under File again, and then you have to go ahead and hit the Option key, and it says Show Inspector. I guess they call that Show Inspector. I mean, it's weird because over here, if you right-click on it, it says Get More Info, and that's what this window is, but this is really the inspector window. So there's a couple ways of getting there for all it's worth. I just thought that would help people. Number 9 takes 1 second to learn. If you look over here, I'm in my Finder window. A lot of times you'll have all of your files in here and they have really long names and you can't read some of them. You can see in here they get cut off and they put little dots in here. Just go up here to where it is and just double click on this little line right there. See that? Just double click on it. It's going to automatically resize these fields so that it goes to the exact last position here. So the same thing here, watch. I'm going to double click on this. It's going to open this up. I'm going to double click on this. I'm going to open that up. So it's going to make sure you can see everything in here. And it's really just an easy fix if you're, instead of moving the line and trying to fix, obviously if you have a whole bunch of files files, you can't tell where the last one is. So you go in there, just double click it. It's going to expand it to only fit what's available there. No further, obviously, but it's going to give you the whole length of the name so you can see it in Finder. Just a quick tip. Tip number 10, I think the majority of people know this already, but maybe they don't, so take a look here. So if you're in here, one way to do this, if you like to keep a clean screen down here, I'm going to show you how to turn some stuff on down here. But if you don't want to deal with that, anytime you're in a screen here, if you just hold down the Options key, watch what happens down here. Hold the Option key down, it's going to give you the path, all right? So the path of the folder that you're in. If you click on a file in here, and you just hold that key down, the Option key down again, it's going to give you the full path of the file, right? See it down here? And then you can go up, so let's say you want to go up a couple directories, you can keep that Option key held and just click on Documents. It's going to bring you right to the Documents folder. See that? Really cool. But if you want things down here permanently, there's an easy way to do that, obviously. So we're going to go ahead and just leave this alone. What you want to do is you want to go up here, go to View under the Finder up here, go to View here, and then you can go ahead and Show Path Bar right there. What that's going to do is it's going to permanently put this path bar down here. See that? So anytime you like log into something, you're going to see it keeps going up a folder. Click on this. It's going to show you the path here. You can go down as well. You can go all the way down to my name. You can do whatever you want in there. So that's one way. Also, if you go back up to view up here, you can go show status bar as well. Now that's going to give you the total size of everything, 16 items, 139. This is going to be how much gigabytes you have available on your computer. See that? It's not so much, it's going to list how many items there are, but then show you how much is available on your computer. It's not that useful because you would think it would show you how much, how much stuff is in the actual folders, but it's showing you how much is available on your computer. But I guess that's kind of nice to always know, so that if you're copying things, you always know exactly how much you have, so you don't go over if you want to keep a specific limit to keep the machine running smoothly. So I thought that was kind of a cool feature overall. But just remember, if you don't want all that stuff always up there, just hold the Option key down and it's going to give you the path right away, and then it'll just fade away. Okay, we're going to wrap this up. I hope this helps people. These are not mind-blowing or anything like that, but they're just little things that help people from day to day. And let me know what your most favorite was, and if you knew all of them. I bet you that the power users are going to know probably 7 out of 10. The normal users might know 4 out of 10. But still, let me know in the comments. I'm just curious. We will talk to you the next one. I have the Apple News every weekend. Definitely stay tuned for that. That's a great, it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek type of thing. If you love Apple products, services, and stuff, obviously look for those Apple News videos. And then I do a whole bunch of product reviews. I have a Thunderbolt 5 massive hub coming out, and I have a whole bunch of reviews on some really cool stuff. So subscribe to the channel. We'll talk to you in the next one. Peace. Peace.